I was really amazed at how many people watched my last video, took the time to comment, gave me some compliments on the transformation that this Lego collection has gone through. I now wanted to kind of pivot a little bit and share some of the challenges of having a collection like this and thinking about how do I display, how do I make the most out of my display to really enjoy it. One of the things that I've had for quite a long time is a like a kind of a collection around Hoth, and it has not worked very well. It's been kind of a mishmash. You can see some elements here. It's almost like a graveyard of Hoth figures. I had the Assault on Hoth UCS set from many years ago. Actually, I think that might have been a Master Builder series, not sure now. But also Echo Base, one of the Hoth Medical Chamber sets. And I really just kind of mished them all together in trying to create a diorama of some sort. Combine that with the UCS AT-AT, I thought it would be pretty interesting. It died a slow death. I really never got it to where I wanted it to be. So what I'm going to do over the course of the next couple days is try and reframe this and start building it out again, just taking a chunk at a time. So the first chunk that we're going to work on here is the diorama with the UCS AT-AT itself, the AT-AT, the AT-ST, the Scout Trooper, and see if we can't really tile off a couple plates and get this going for the first of the Moducase. So hope you enjoy, and we'll get into it right now. Thank you. Okay, here is the view of the collection as it stands today. And what we're going to be doing, we are looking down here. This is a DF60 cube where we have a couple miscellaneous Hoth sets. I'm not going to spend any time going through those. This is the graveyard of Hoth collections. I have the Assault on Hoth, Echo Base, some of the other sets there, and then of course the UCS AT-AT, the UCS AT-AT. Okay, here is what we have. The DF-130 is where the Imperial Walker lives today. The DF-120 is the Hoth graveyard that I walked you through. The DF-60 has a couple of those Rebel snow speeders and some other miscellany there. This is going to be the entire size of the diorama that we're going to execute against right now. It's 95 inches, which gives us 9.5 base plates. So I kind of mapped this out a little bit here. So if you take a look at kind of what I'm roughly planning, over here on the right side, you can see this green. The two green top base plates here are going to be the AT-AT. By the way, this is kind of looking down on it now, like physically looking down on what, as if it was on a table. We'll have some snow troopers here following around, gawking at the AT-AT. And then the AT-ST, the Scout Walker, is going to be leading the charge there. This kind of sixth base plate here at the top will simply be just kind of a glossy tiled over white snow face. Now, eventually, I will get to this Wampa cave and the crashed snow speeder. That will be the next two plates. Beyond that, I'm going to kind of leave it open. I imagine this yellow will all be trenches, a variety of different kind of trench configurations, and then leading into the red, which will really be Echo Base, where we'll start having the gate for the ships to fly out of, medical chamber, and then somewhere in here as well, we'll figure out where the ion cannon and the shield generator goes. So all of that will probably be in this red section here. So today we're focused on the green. Let's see how much progress we make, and we'll see if we can't knock this out for one video. One of the other things I have here is this IKEA box. Hoth Troopers white base plates I've had forever. A lot of 16 by 16 plates in here. An extra Wampa, Tauntaun. Tons of just kind of bricklink orders, but some good sloped pieces. This is the old turret from the Attack on Hoth set that I never liked, never used it. Just literally tons and tons and tons of pieces. So I don't think that pieces will be my problem. I think organization is not going to help me a whole lot, but we're going to go through these and start trying to get a feel for where we stand. Now, the other thing that I want to show you are these. These are IKEA boxes that are actually jointly made between Lego and IKEA. I don't know how well you can see there, but these do indeed say Lego on them. So they're official Lego pieces. So the lid of one of these ones right here is actually 1 brick high. So it's basically one large plate that you can use. And then it comes in smaller sizes as well. So these are effectively 1 plate high. You can use the whole box if you want. And it comes in larger sizes, so much, much bigger. I'm not quite sure. I know the top of this is 2 bricks high. I don't know how high this overall thing is, but quite honestly, you can use the entire thing and just literally use this as one big area instead of having a whole bunch of filler brick underneath. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get this high, but I might very well do so. And finally, there's even a larger one that is, so literally this is just like one big huge brick that is 2 bricks high. So when I originally played around with my first stab at this, I used these quite extensively, and I think I'm going to do so again, probably a little bit more reserved than what I did in the past, but they are great pieces. I got this idea from Solid Bricks Studio many years ago. He posted this video where he started talking about these and used them, and it stuck with me. So we'll see how that goes. Here you can see what I originally came up with. I actually do like a lot of this. I love the turrets. I'll share the link on Rebrickable. One of the reasons, though, I want to redo this is I don't like the lack of depth in the trenches. I'm a very visual person, so here's me doing a sanity check just to make sure that this was going to give me the space that I needed to make sure that these 6 base plates would indeed have the room to do everything I wanted to get done. Anytime I build a MoC, the next thing for me to do is to wheel out this additional table that I have. It normally sits flush against the wall, but when I MoC build, I roll it out to kind of give my office an L shape. It gives me a little bit more access to some of the pieces that I need, and allows me to go back and forth between my main desk and the build desk. In order for me to do the indentation of the feet, I obviously need to learn where the feet go as far as on the base plates go. So I need to get these 2 up there, and then I'll kind of cookie cutter around them. This is really the scene that I'm going for from Empire Strikes Back, which has both the Imperial Walker and the Scout Walker. Once I had the Imperial Walker up on my desk, I actually realized I could do this in just 2 base plates. So I removed everything else just for the sake of simplicity. All I'm doing here is outlining the 4 foot pads using bricks. This is where they're going to kind of form that indentation. I purposely kept it pretty loose. I didn't want to have a situation where I eventually put this back on the base plate and had trouble getting it to fit. Now that the outlines are complete, the next stage is to simply plate the entire thing out. So now I'm kind of treating it just like a traditional Mills plate and really plating all around where those indentations are going to be. Now it's time for a quick fit test. Make sure that the indentations are still appropriate for the size here. Perfect fit, no problem at all, and we're off on our way. AT-AT goes there. I tested it. It fits. ATST is going to go here. I built this off camera a little bit earlier. We have the remaining 2 plates here, 1 plate there, so this gives us the 3x2 plate scenario. I am going to add indentations here where the ATST has been walking, and then it's going to be a whole lot of tiling to get the rest of this done. Let's see how we get on. Here we have it, all 6 base plates complete with the indentations for the walkers, both the AT-AT and the ATST, and then the kind of like the footprints here of the ATST at least. Now I need to tile this off. So before I do that, let me just kind of get cleaned up, and we'll move to the final stage. Here's the current status of the 6 base plates. ATST, indentation, AT-AT indentation. And then what I tried to create here, which you saw in the stop motion, is essentially the exact same thing, but for the snow troopers. So they're all kind of running through the snow, and we see this difference in the indentation there, basically footsteps. So I'll see how that works. Not 100% convinced on it yet, but as this thing builds out, we'll see how it goes.
Let's play.
Okay, here's an update on where we are. 6 base plates, probably 5 of them now are complete. So what I've done here is added a tremendous amount of texture. This is going to be where the rest of the Hoth troopers are running. So I kind of think it looks a little messy right now. It's not very uniform, but truly that's by design. Once I put the troopers down, I think it'll become more apparent that they're the ones that have kind of messed up this pristine landscape, which is why you don't see the tiling as much. So that's the game plan. And then what I'm going to do here is create a very significant, tiling motion again. So hopefully it's a little bit more clear that once these troops are placed, that's why this looks a little bit messy, so to speak. And then you can also see here, once I put those troops back in, I think you get a feel for what it is those indentations are and the fact that they're kind of changing up the landscape, so to speak. So nearing the end here, the other thing I want to briefly mention, at this point over here, this is where the scout trooper is going to be, the ATST. Here I'm going to start the process of building elevation. So I want this to be another brick up, so another full brick high. So we'll slowly start building that elevation to lead into the next base plate, because this base plate here, which is not there right now, will be the crashed snow speeder. That's the game plan. So and I need that to be another layer higher.
fun.
And we are complete. 6 base plates, 3x2 in size. This is going to be the start of the diorama for Hoth. Imprint there for the ATST, the Scout Trooper, and then the larger 4 for the AT-AT. We have room for some troops that we'll be putting in there. The whole thing largely is tiled off appropriately to kind of give that scene of the snow. And then I did build this part here off camera a little bit where I added some elevation. And then when I get into the next phase of the diorama, this left side here will be a fallen snow speeder, and then over there will be the Wampa cave. We're going to jam as many of the scenes from Hoth as we possibly can into this diorama. I don't care if they make sense or not. So there's the glimpse. We will see if we can move it into the Moducase space and get the walkers added, and then we'll do a final run through. Okay, here we are. The diorama is in, the one that we made. So again, 3x2, so 6 base plates. I filled it with the troopers, and now the moment of truth to get the AT-AT walker in there along with the Scout walker. So hopefully they don't fall apart in my hand. There it is. Perfectly set up. Looks really good. Super pleased with the first phase, if you will, of the Hoth diorama. Very cool.